Hello everyone. In today's video, I was going to be continuing my Tears of the Kingdom playthrough series, which is also kind of like a guide. In this episode, I plan on finishing off the Great Sky Island at the start of the game and just continuing on with the adventure. Last episode, we went to we kind of did the tutorial of the game and got like the first two shrines, which was the ability to build stuff with Ultra Hand, and of course Fuse, which allows us to combine different weapons. Now we're going to continue on. As you can see, there's some constructs here fighting some of those Choo-Choo jellies. If you remember me talking about the three-way war video, where I was discussing that, basically the outcome of that was that the first King of Hyrule mentions to the player that the constructs just protect their Great Sky Island. He thought they would have not continued their thing anymore and just like kind of retired basically, but they just continued their job. So basically that's why they attacked the player and the Choo-Choo jellies, just because they're protecting the Great Sky Island. It's actually a decently good weapon around the corner over here. Oh, I'll just drop this rusty broadsword. It's in that chest. You should be able to grab this pretty easily, as the enemies, if you're in the water, are pretty easy. If you spend the time cutting down trees, there's this item called a cork frond, which is basically like the cork leaf in Breath of the Wild. If you add it to a weapon, you can knock these enemies in the water, therefore defeating them easily. They're just going to throw some pebbles at you, but you don't really have to worry about them. Here's more of these ancient arowana fish. Now we're going to be heading to pretty much our first cave, Pondside Cave, and getting these bright bloom seeds. The bright bloom seeds are helpful, and you'll see why later on. Don't forget to pick up and defeat any of these Keese enemies. Oh, here we go. Here's our first bubble frog. This first bubble frog takes a few hits to destroy, but you should be able to get it. The Keese eyeball, they show in the trailers that it locks onto enemies and then goes and fires at them. Let's see here. Looks like I could continue in the cave this way. I just don't remember this cave layout that well. Oh, you guy, I know what's in this chest now. In this chest over here is an important item, which is the archaic tunic, which is the whole set in the trailers. Now, we're going to continue with our journey. Am I allowed to grab this? Oh no, the steward constructs say that they need that. You can see the King of Hyrule just sitting down here, which basically, next thing we need to do is go to the other side of this river, which we just need to build a basic boat. We're just adding a few trees together and putting some fans on top. Just like, well, not like that. Here we go. Now I just gotta put it on here. And of course hit your fan and you'll start going forward. Alrighty, now we're making it to the other side of this lake. You just need to do that simple boat setup unless you have like a different idea. We're going to collect that item called a stam bulb, which is kind of like a turnip almost. I accidentally talked to that steward right now. Oh, ranger construct. Yeah, they're just giving the player some flint in case they need it, or if they need to cook any meals. But since at the start, on the first episode, we roasted a bunch of stuff, we'll be good for a little while. Also, I haven't really taken any damage. You'll probably end up needing the Choo-Choo jelly at one point in the game, but that's later on. Here you should be able to hit the Alpha Hammer if you wanted to go down in there, although I'm not that sure what's down there. Now we're just going to continue going along this road. Over here there's a construct camp. You don't have to fight them, but if you want to, you can. And over here there's a minecart set up. which basically is what we're going to be using now. Simply just attach a fan to a minecart and ride it down into the caves. You could add more fans to the minecart or attach multiple minecarts together to kind of build a train. If you add more fans, it'll be able to go faster. Here at this part, don't worry if you can't see anything, because you'll be able to get some assistance with that right now. Which I got one of these giant bright bloom seeds. Which this construct's going to tell you if you have any bright bloom seeds. Basically what happens with them is, you see a bright bloom seed, you grab it, and if you throw it, it creates a flower that produces light. This will be especially handy with a special thing that they're going to show the player later in the game. Here's a special ore called Zonite, which you're going to want to mine this. It comes in handy later in the game. As you can see, there's a bunch of the Zonite. If you're wondering how much it sells for, I think it's like 4 rupees. So it's not like the best thing ore to go mining for. Although it has a lot of other purposes. These constructs that are broken down, you can get Zonite charges through inside of them. So make sure you search those when you can. Here, there's a little forge. Which now we're just going to continue mining. Which we got one more hit on this hammer before it breaks. When it says your weapon's badly damaged, that means it has like 3 more hits before it actually breaks. Same thing with your bows. Shields, it depends on what weapon the enemy is using. It's a bit more complicated with shields. I just made another hammer right now, which we're just trying to mine out all this Zonite. Which is kind of like a currency almost with these constructs. Now you could talk to this one, and he's going to set up all his different stuff. Here, if you're going to buy these crystallized charges, buy them in groups of 10. That's just my main tip of advice for these. Reason being is that usually when your player finds crystallized charges, they're normally in like groups of 20 or 100, or like bigger groups like that. I'm just going to continue mining out the Zonite. Later in the game, the player unlocks an ability which uses Zonite, so that's why you're going to want to mine this. Now we can talk to this one right here, which he's going to tell you how the Zonite capsules work, which he's going to give us the fans that were on his desk. Basically, we're going to do what we did earlier with the minecart, but this time we're going to use our Zonite capsule, which, as you can see, we just took out a fan. These are basically just portable devices in case you don't have one that you need or something. Although this doesn't work inside of shrines and stuff. I was looking for the axe I was using earlier. Now we're just going to head up here. Something you could have done back there is find a shield and then attach one of those minecarts to it, because it actually makes the shield better for shield surfing. But I'm good with the spiky shield right now. As you can see, there are the construct enemies that were over there. If you fall off here onto this little area, you just gotta go back into the cave over there and then redo the entire process again of climbing up. Now we made it up here, which now is going to be when the player wants to prepare for the cold area. There's also, I believe, yep, one of these, I guess vending machines. Basically, I actually don't have any. Oh, actually, I do. I just need to sort my inventory. We put these Zonite charges inside. It's going to fuel up this machine, which then it's going to give me some of those capsules. If you picked up an item called a large Zonite charge, you can also use it as well. The flame emitters are how you made that flamethrower shield that was shown in the trailers, if you're wondering. Over here there's a Cork with a side quest where basically you just talk to him and you gotta get him over there, which then the reward is 2 Cork seeds. I'm gonna bring this minecart with me. Something before I do that, actually I want to grab really quick are some spicy peppers, which there are some over here. It's basically like the Great Plateau, where you need warm meals to get through the cold part of it. Over here, there's a big enemy, like mini boss, called a Flux Construct. It's not too hard to fight. I think on like my first day of the game when I was playing, I was actually able to defeat him real easily. But if you don't know what you're doing with that fight, then it can be a little bit hard. Here, there's a cooking pot. And some more peppers, which now we're just going to go cooking these. I'll keep my last pepper on me. Now, I'm trying to remember how I got up there last time. Let me look at my map. Let's see here. Okay, I think I remember now. Oh, I think I remember now. I think I went through that cave. I was just having a bit of trouble remembering. As long as you have those warm meals, you should be good to go. Should keep running out of stamina. They got rid of the whistle run glitch that was in Breath of the Wild. It's fine though, because it's not like the biggest glitch that you need. I'm just gonna ignore that last keys. The portable pot item you got from that Zonai dispenser only has one use though, so it's kind of like for an emergency situation where you just need like one meal. Which, as you can see, if we climb up here, we'll be in the cold area. When you get up there, just wait a few seconds and then eat your meal. It's just like a way to save a few extra seconds. There's some ice choo-choos here. You can just run past them. They're not like the biggest thing that you have to worry about. There's some of these constructs here. Just run past them. You don't have to fight them. Over here, there's going to be a harder enemy, actually. Which you're just going to climb up here. There it is, the harder enemy. Which is a Captain Construct. He'll attach that flame emitter to his weapon. Which there should be some, ice jellies that spawn. Which you're going to kind of just run past him with this. Which, as you can see, he's going to destroy those in like one hit. Oh yes, bottomless cave. Yep, I was gonna say, make sure you get that bubble frog. Which, as you can see, I just picked up an item called a bomb flower. The bomb flowers are extremely helpful, so make sure you pick up as many of those as you can. If you're wondering what these bubble frogs do and that gem that they drop, if you remember in Breath of the Wild, there's a character named Kilton, which he was really into monsters. Basically, and he reveals in Tears of the Kingdom that he has a brother that likes all the Satori creatures, like those bunnies and those frogs. And he wants to become like one of those creatures, so he needs to eat those gems in order to do so. Now we're just going to climb up here. You're going to find one of these enemies, which is called a like. If it sticks out its tongue like that, you can just hit it and then continue to hit it and make it take damage. If it has its mouth open like that, then you could use the flamethrower shield like in the trailers and burn them. Well, I'm just going to avoid these enemies because it's not necessary to fight them. You can see the exit right here. If you want to, it's actually a free flame emitter shield right here, which I'm actually going to keep because you never know when you need one. You can just run past this enemy. Which, as you can see, that's him in his middle of attacking animation. Which I get one of these free flame emitters. I'm just going to run past him now. Here, don't continue along with the road because it gets kind of complicated here. But basically, we're going to be climbing up this tree. It looks a bit hard, but yeah. I wouldn't suggest jumping for this part. I'm just doing it because I'm pretty skilled at the game. Basically, you're just going to climb up to this part right here, and you're going to rest for a second. Then you're going to continue climbing. Now, even I'm not going to be jumping on this part just because of how hard it is. Now we're just going to climb up here. And there we go. Climb up one right here, but don't fall off. And then here's the shrine right here, which we're going to need the ability in this shrine to get a special item in a minute. Same thing as the last few times. The King of Hyrule's going to show up and give me the next ability. Which this one's the Ascend ability, which allows the player to go up into roofs. Although it has a lot of limits in this game, but yeah. It does come in handy though when you of course use it. A secret feature they added in the new game is that if an NPC is talking, you can click Y and it'll go back on what they said previously in case you skipped past something that you wanted to see. We're just going to be jumping up like this. And this one over here, there's a bonus chest. Another thing to keep in mind with your ascend ability is that if a wall or roof, actually roof, if it's too high up, then you can't actually reach it. Like if a roof's too high up, like let's say if I wanted to ascend through up there, as you can see I can't since it's too high up. I just got a new axe right now, as you all saw, which that'll come in handy because I was already wearing down the one I had. Let me use my long stick, which yes, that is what it's called. Here you're gonna get rid of these two strings, just like that. You can get your arrow back, and they're going to want you to ascend there. But there's actually a bonus chest over here that could easily be missed. I'm going to throw a fire fruit at them to get rid of these crates. Make sure your weapon doesn't catch fire. Alright, on to the next part. After this. Okay, we got a construct bow. I'm going to get rid of the one I have since it's already damaged. If you can't decide on something like, let's say you had a bunch of bows like in that situation, the best thing to do is get rid of the bow you already have equipped because it's been damaged. This wall's too high, so you have to time your jumps perfectly, which you're just going to jump on this moving platform like this. The game will automatically put your camera facing upwards when you do use your ascend. As you can see, the shrine's just over here. Now, same thing as last time. Since we got the 3 shrines here, now he's going to tell us to go to the Temple of Time. Although first there's a secret treasure up here in this tree over here, which you can now activate since you have the Ascend ability. You may be wondering, there's only 3 of these items that I got from the shrines. Don't you need 4 of them for a heart container? Which this is true, which you'll see why in a minute. Alright, so you can see we got the Archaic Horn Greaves, which have 1 more defense than the current one that I had originally. So we're going to keep these equipped until I get more armor. Over there, there's another one of those vending machines that you can use Ascend to get on the stairs to get to. I'm just going to skip it to make the video go by faster. But that one actually has planes inside of it, like the ones here. As you can see, I don't have any fans or anything on this plane, but the cool thing about these is that you can actually fly them without any parts on them. Just simply go on the side that you want to turn on. And if you want to go down, just stand on the nose of the plane. Which if you stand on the nose, and then go back here, you can kind of pull up pretty much. Let's see here. Make sure you don't land on those lily pads when you fall. Try to get into a good position, and now we're going to land. Try to land near the lily pads, but not on top of them, so that way when you get down, you can actually get your stamina. Which now we're just going to head back to the temple. So now we're just going to continue climbing up. Which over there, you can see the new dragon that they added in Tears of the Kingdom. You'll figure out what's the story behind that in Tears of the Kingdom. Actually, I might have said Breath of the Wild a minute ago by accident. Let's see here. Now we're at the temple, which the door will open for us now that we have the abilities. As you can see, the door has opened. Which is going to be some cutscene stuff that I'm just going to be skipping. As you can see, there's a strange item right here, which we're just going to examine that. That's when all the cutscene stuff starts, just so you know. In the vision, Link sees Zelda, and she gives him the ability, which is Recall, which allows him to rewind the time on an object. Which they want the player to kind of use the ability here on a little parkour course. It's pretty simple. As you can see, if we come here, we won't be able to do anything since we only have 3 of the light blessings, which are this game's equivalent of spirit orbs. Now the player can try attempting to open this door, because that's the next main part of this. It's kind of like the Master Sword in Breath of the Wild, where it makes you take away your health, but then gives it back to you after. As you can see, the player only has so many hearts, which they cannot open this. Now, I believe he's gonna tell you that you can use the statue to get yourself a new heart container if you have another one of those things. Which now he's gonna tell you and give you the ability to teleport. As you can see, it gave us our health back, which now we're gonna teleport back to the starting area. Now, at the Great Sky Island, if you remember me talking about those gears in the last episode, now we're going to actually use them. With the new Ascend ability we learned, now we're going to go up here, and with the Rewind ability, now we're going to head on to these gears. I messed that up by accident. Here you go, just hop on like this without falling off, and then you can jump into the secret room over here. Which now, this is going to take us to the next shrine. Which, as you could probably guess, would involve the Rewind ability. Over here, there's a little forge over here, which, if you remember me talking about those crystallized charges and how you should buy 10 of them at once, you can actually bring those here. If you bring 100 of them here, that battery bank the player has will actually be able to be upgraded. As you can see, the ability to rewind. Which now we're just going to be using that. If you look at it, you can see it follows its exact pattern. Now you can just jump off here. There's a bonus chest, which is simply just gotta rewind the gear, hop on the thing, and then get up to the chest. I'm just gonna skip it to make the video go faster. You can see the doors will line up when these two are in sync. So we're just gonna get them into sync now. You should be able to, just glue them with your Ultra Hand ability. As you can see, it's done. Now we can get the orb. Which now from here, I think there's a few options you could do. You could either teleport back to the shrine where you get Ultra Hand, go through the lake over here, come over this way, and pretty much climb up over here, and then head to the front of the temple. And I think, I can't remember this 100%, but I think we should be able to use these planes to fly over to the temple. I'm just going to make sure it actually goes in the right direction so I don't jump off and accidentally die. Yeah, I think we should be able to make it there. No, not 100% sure though. Make sure you're standing on the tip of it, but not too far forward, because then you'll fall off. We're just trying to get down to the temple as fast as we can. If you look on your mini-map, you could see where certain lakes are, which then you could land, which we're just going to be doing the one in front of the temple. Okay, we should be able to jump here. Oh, I might have messed that up. Just be careful when you're falling. Now I'm above the water, the game says. So now I'm going to get ready for a landing. Made my controller rumble. The one I was using originally broke down, so I actually got a new controller. There are two mystery buttons on my controller that for some reason don't do anything, but it sounds like one of those mouse keys. Like that. Not that sure why the buttons are there, but it's still pretty cool. As you can see, now we're going to go to that statue and get the heart container. They don't give stamina as an option, like they did in Breath of the Wild. Although, I personally had picked heart container, so I'm actually glad with that. And rewind time on this set of gears as well. Which now, we're going to get our heart container. Heart container, as you can see, is the only option. So now, as you can see, some of the gloom that came inside of Link when Ganon had attacked him is now gone. Now we have 4. Now it's time to open this door. As you can see, it's going a lot faster now. And the door has been activated. This is what everybody saw in the trailer, assumably. Now the first King of Hyrule is gonna talk to Link and tell him that Zelda's done all she can to help them, and now it's up to Link. So basically now we're just gonna be using the Ascend ability to get over there. And you'll see that little gold orb over there. That's where we're headed. There's gonna be a lot more cutscene stuff, which I'll catch you up after. As you can see, the Master Sword's no longer in our inventory. That's because in that golden orb was one of those rewind things using the recall ability, which basically what happened was when Zelda touched the secret stone down in the caverns of Hyrule, she went back in time. Basically, Link sent the Master Sword back in time so Zelda could fix it in time for the future. But anyways, next thing we're going to do, which I'm just going to jump down there and then finish the video. So now we're just going to skydive down, which as you can see they give us some lakes. During the cutscene you can see that little area over there, which would be a new village that they added to the game. And as you can see, the player won't just go into nothingness. Now they'll actually fall into Hyrule. Which, as you can see, we don't have a paraglider yet, so don't just go jumping down anywhere. We'll get the paraglider in the next episode. As you can see, we made it down to Hyrule Castle, well, not Hyrule Castle, but Hyrule Kingdom, which it looks different. Well anyways, that's going to finish up this video, so please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Goodbye.